Welcome to the Team Fish Taco podcast. On our last podcast, we discussed basically how going forward we're going to be just kind of rambling about random stuff. And I had the great idea to talk about something that a few of us did last year, which was go through the entirety of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and also El Camino. So today, we have your host, which is me, Richard, also known as Beholden Yeti. Joining us today is Pedro.
What's up, guys?
And then Alex, welcome back to the podcast.
Lalo Salamanca, how are you doing?
And two newcomers to the podcast. We have Yin.
Hello.
And Lex.
Howdy.
All right. Yeah, this is y'all's first time on the podcast, isn't it?
It is our first time on the TFT podcast.
Let's go.
Is this the first time we've had a girl on the podcast?
I think so, yeah.
Wait, that's groundbreaking.
Yo, it actually is. Yeah, good eye on that, Pedro. But yeah, so last year we spent a good majority of the year watching Better Call Saul first and Breaking Bad because Pedro and Alex didn't have.
Yeah, hold on. Let me
All right.
give a breakdown on this real quick. So, I believe it was the first half of season 5 of Better Call Saul that you guys were talking about in Discord that day.
No, it was
something?
season 6.
Okay, it was season 6, and
I remember watching it in Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
what
This was after that.
Oh, okay.
yeah, but basically you guys were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I liked the first 2 seasons of Breaking Bad, but I didn't really like it after that, so I dropped it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but I saw this really cool scene from Better Call Saul. It's like this white bald dude, like, acts like a badass in a parking garage. This whole time, I thought that guy was Saul. So when
Mike?
they were, like, trying to convince me to, when they were trying to convince me to watch the show, I was like, yeah, that shit seems kind of cool. Don't really know what it's about, though. And then they showed me, like, a couple scenes, and I realized Saul was, not the white bald hair guy. Definitely didn't expect
Bald hair guy.
bald-haired guy.
I said bald white guy.
You said white bald hair guy.
This is all recorded,
I
Pedro.
probably
You
did,
can't get
bro.
away with lying.
Listen, god damn, that's crazy.
I have,
But
I have white.
yeah. So anyway,
Good shit, Alex. Alex got me.
Okay, let's not start an argument this early,
yeah, we got a long
What?
way to go.
because 2 of us disagree at least. So
Anyway, Pedro, so what made you start watching? Well, how did they? Because I didn't join in at first.
Yeah, I think it was Yin and it wasn't Chloe, right?
No, Chloe
It
didn't.
was
it was me, Alex, and you, and it was definitely past midnight, as I remember it being super late.
it was late.
I forgot what the exact. I think it might have been right after we watched Plan and Execution, and I was talking about how in the beginning of Better Call Saul it had like the scene with Tuco, and that was like a really good episode to start off with. So we kind of skipped around, saw some scenes, and then we just started watching it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Yeah,
didn't
me and,
even like
Alex-
sit down and watch the first episode? You just kind of skipped around, and then you're like, all right, we're committed
No,
from this
no,
point forward.
He just showed me a couple of scenes from the first couple of. I want to say specifically, he showed me the scene of. Was it Mike getting his ass beat by Tuco or something?
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it had to do with Mike and Tuco, and then he showed me one of the Jimmy scenes, and I can't remember which one exactly, but basically it sold me on the premise. I was like, "Fuck it, let's watch it." And then as I started watching, I was like, "Holy shit, this is good."
And so I guess Alex, same story there. Like Pedro started watching it, so you also hadn't seen Better Call
I
Saul
wasn't
yet?
interested. I was watching in the background couple first nights. Was watching in the background because I did not expect the same quality as Breaking Bad, but I knew it might get me interested. So I just keep coming to the nights and get more involved to the show.
Yeah, because the key thing to understand is Alex did actually watch full all of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I hadn't. I had only watched the first
Pedro,
2
you
seasons.
have your
Actually,
experience.
not even that.
You're
I watched
watching,
the first. Yeah.
but still, your watching experience is so fucking different from I want to say 99% of the people that watched the show, and is that you
true.
watched Better Call Saul first before you watched
Yeah.
Breaking Bad, before you watched all of Breaking Bad. You stopped before you even got to Saul in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I literally did not know that Saul was like the lawyer dude. Because I want to say, what was it, Ian? 3 episodes before we meet Saul that I think I stopped. It was like early season 2. It was like season 2, episode 2 or 3. I stopped.
At least you knew which episode you stopped at. Fucking Chloe kept dragging it out.
Oh my
like
God.
3 seasons. We're in like halfway through season 2. It's like, I think this is where I stopped. And then we like get into season 3. It's like, oh no, I've seen this. It wasn't until like halfway through season 4 Chloe was finally like, oh, I think we're finally in the territory where I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Also, Cherry, I believe, watching Better Call Saul first.
Yeah, so we could
she is.
theoretically. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she has the same viewpoint that you do, and that's why they aren't in this podcast right now, because she has not finished Breaking Bad, and that's why Chloe isn't in this podcast right now, because Chloe has not watched Better Call Saul. So we're here to discuss all of it, and basically when we watched it first. So I guess that's when you were watching it in the Discord last year, you, Alex, and Yin. I didn't really start joining in on you guys' watches till season 3, I believe.
Yeah.
I caught a couple early episodes with y'all, but it wasn't until season 3 is when I tagged along for the ride, because I had already seen the show.
I remember the first time you joined in was the Mike episode.
I think the Mike episode is when I first joined in, because I was at my grandparents' house and I saw y'all were watching Saul, and I'm like, I'm coming in and watching this shit. So, and I thought it was so cool because I didn't know anybody else in this in our Discord or in our group at all were watching this show.
I had no idea that
until
we saw it in Texas.
Until the Texas trip.
Yeah, exactly. And then like Richard knew all about Better Call Saul, and I was like, what? Like he knew all the characters, and I was like, wait, you watch this shit?
I am ashamed to admit that I slept on Saul for a long time before I finally like got down and started watching it. I think I watched it. So ironically, the last season of Better Call Saul is the only season that I watched live on all shows. Breaking Bad I didn't watch until like a year after it ended, and then I finished that in like 2 days. So then, and then I think I watched it again with Selden for his first time way back in the day. And then I've probably seen it like 3 or 4 times since then. And then I went to Albuquerque in 2021 to just do some stuff. And I was like, you know what? Starting a new rewatch of Breaking Bad while I'm out here.
Just did some stuff in Albuquerque too.
Exactly. But so I decided, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to start Breaking Bad again while I'm out here. And then it took me a couple weeks. And I decided, fuck it. I'm at this point. I'll just do a whole fucking rewatch. So... And I finally finished it again.
So let me circle back to the way you watch Better Call Saul, because I had the opposite experience. When I was watching Breaking Bad, I actually took a break halfway between because I thought that was slow. But then when I watched Better Call Saul, I just sped through that in like a week because I was sick and I had nothing else to do.
I've done that before on random shows where I've been sick as balls, and I just decided to like try some shows that I would have never tried. Like Boardwalk Empire, I was almost dying. And I was like, I'll just try this show while I'm laying in bed. And I've like finished the whole thing in like 2 days.
Yeah, that show's incredible.
It's
But
hard
like
to start at the because I just watched the last episode and I want to talk about the last episode.
Yeah, we'll get to
but I know that's a bad place to start.
Well, we're not really going to go in chronological. We're going to kind of just talk about whatever we want. But
wait, so how did this come up in Houston?
Well, okay, so I'll finish my thing real quick. So in 2021, I finished my probably 6th or 7th rewatch of Breaking Bad. And then I just finally decided, you know what? I've been sleeping on Better Call Saul for way too long. I keep seeing that people say it's amazing. I'm going to give it a shot. And fucking holy shit, I'm glad I did, because it is as good, if not better, than Breaking Bad. And so at the time, they only had 5 seasons. So I wrapped all that up really quickly. Now it's April 2022. Season 6 is on the doorstep. So at the same time, we had a giant Team Fish Taco trip out to Houston for the LCS finals, which was a lot of fun. But I think that same weekend, or maybe it was the weekend after, they had just released, for some reason, the first 2 episodes together of season 6. And I remember
the timeline pretty well. So It was right before season 6 was supposed to release, so it actually got released either the week before or maybe it was right the week before.
It had to be
Otherwise
the
we
week
would've
before,
watched 3
yeah.
episodes. I was trying to get Alexa to watch it because she was on her computer and we were just sitting around eating breakfast and had the time. This is while we went to Texas.
That's it?
Well, and then
It was really good, and I kept trying to.
And yeah, we started watching it on the kitchen table.
Wait, so that was the first time you'd ever watched it, Lexa?
No. I just hadn't like gotten caught up.
Oh, okay. I see.
I had already seen it. I watched it whenever it came out on Netflix. I just kind of binged through that shit.
Yeah, I want to say I found out she watched it because the first time meeting her, she was working something law related. I'm like, oh, have you ever Better Call Saul?
That's the first show that comes to your head when you think of like law shows?
it is for me.
Well, it's kind of
Yeah,
relevant.
100%.
I guess it is pretty recent, yeah, but I feel like I would think of, I don't know,
Like
Suits,
Law and Order or whatever.
Okay, I don't know if Law and Order counts. It's not really about lawyers.
There's a division of the show that's about lawyers, isn't it? Isn't it the whole thing?
Oh, I only know SVU.
But so yeah, and
Yeah,
y'all were
But
in
anyway,
the
he was trying to get me to catch up on the new season.
Yes.
Like really badly, and I was
Because I
putting it off. And so we just started watching it like on my MacBook.
I think I was like
Yes.
walking by and I like took a glance over at her computer and I was like, "You guys are watching the new episode of Better Call Saul." And then we were like, "What? No way! You all watch Better? Let's go!" It was the episode before Nacho's last episode, so that episode hadn't come
Yeah.
out yet because I watched that at home
Wow.
afterwards. So
that kind of answered your question earlier on why they did the 2 episodes at the same time. I think it kind of lined up together.
I guess yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Like I don't think they've
It's
ever
not
done
been
that
that
before.
far ago with Houston, and then you just rewatch Better Call Saul with us, with me and Peter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Almost
But it was just that season
yeah.
that had just come out.
And we were coming up off of the hype of season 6, and season 6 is insane, especially where because you guys started watching during the mid-season break, right? Is when we did our Discord
Yeah.
watches, and that mid-season finale for season 6, I think is when I joined like Discord with like 10 other people,
Yes.
and I was like, Yin, can we go on another call and like
We
talk
gotta
for a
talk.
minute?
You were not that calm.
Because I was freaking out. I'll go into it a little bit more when we talk about like our favorite like moments and stuff. But yeah, that was a banger. But so that's when, pretty much after that is when we just started like watching the show, and it took us a while to finish, or I say to finish, to get to 609 in our group watch. I think it took us
Some people
longer.
It took a lot longer to finish the show.
Yeah. Nah. So
Oh,
Yeah,
that
like,
was a cool memory
literally
of
just
me
nonstop.
because I was looking for a job at the same time as Saul was looking for different jobs when he got suspended. Yeah, and he was making money somehow, and yeah, I was memorized. And then he got a job, and I got a job.
nice. Alex is
I
taking
was
pointers.
keep watching. Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Would you say your job turned out better than his?
I mean, honestly, I lost it again, but well,
Oh,
it's kind of
no.
the same thing.
Oh my god.
You
Are
get
you
to-
also in prison right now?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
looking still.
Not yet.
But yeah, I mean, it took us longer to watch Saul than it did to watch Breaking Bad, didn't it?
I think our schedules just lined up better because back when we were watching Saul, my schedule was like fucked up.
Yeah. Plus, you were in the middle of your move too. No, that was during Breaking Bad, when you moved to Nebraska, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and that what fucked
But-
us up for a while because we were on a roll
Yeah,
for a
I-
while there.
I think we took almost a month break because like I moved, you had your trip to the Northeast, I think with Selden, and then I had my trip.
Mm-hmm. You
Then
went to
I think-
Brazil, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Brazil, and then Chloe had something, I think. So it was almost like a month that we didn't watch.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It was doomed. I can't believe we all like bogged down. We're like, all right, we have to watch so and so amount of episodes tonight in order to finish before the year is done.
Yeah.
But
When did we finish? It was like,
it was like a week before
Mid-December?
Christmas.
okay.
If I had to say,
Yeah, because we
because-
had to finish it or we'd be stalled for another. Like,
exactly because I was about to leave to go to Florida, and that was gonna be it.
month. Yeah,
Um, But yeah, so in watching Better Call Saul, because some people might be thinking, how do you watch Better Call Saul before Breaking Bad? You can do it as long as you stop at 609, which is what we did. Now, Yin, you crazy, insane motherfucker, kept telling me, no, Pedro can finish the show. He can finish the show.
What?
He doesn't have to watch Breaking Bad to finish the last 4 episodes. I think we can explain it to him. I said, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
I stand by my decision. Look at how much longer it took.
It may have taken longer, but it was.
I think technically Yin is right. You can finish it,
No.
and it's still it's still a good ending, but it is not nearly as impactful as if I hadn't watched Breaking Bad. Like the impact of those last 4 episodes are 10 times higher because I watched Breaking Bad. If I had not watched Breaking Bad, I'd have been like, okay, this is a good show. After watching Breaking Bad and watching that, I'm like, holy fuck, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, because there's a ton of callback. The show stands.
I mean, okay, it was already one of the best shows I've ever seen, to be clear. But like,
okay, I think we should back up a bit. So, which show do we think is better?
That's a hard question.
I was gonna say that for the end.
I mean, we can go ahead and talk about it now because we can go into like what.
Better Call Saul.
Better Call Saul.
I think it is recency bias for Better Call Saul, but I also have to say Better Call Saul.
It's not recency bias for me.
I guess that's true. But there's just especially watching Better Call Saul first and then going into Breaking Bad. There's just things they did so much better in Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
like,
no, they definitely learned from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And like, okay, first of all, shout out to Better Call Saul for making Metzger slightly less yellow than before.
Yeah.
Because
yellow tinted sunglasses on.
Yeah, those filters in Breaking Bad, like when we came back to it and we were watching it, oh my god, like I forgot how bad it was. Like watching Better Call Saul and then seeing the yellow in Breaking Bad, I was like, holy fucking shit! Like,
I will give the show
so
this.
Shout out to that.
I'll give it this. It's a good distinction to tell you where you're at. Fair enough.
No,
but it is very distracting.
Clever. But there's a reason it became a meme with how bad it was. Like, if they just made it like a lighter shade of yellow, it would have been like, oh, that's really cool camera work. When you see yellow, it means you're in Mexico.
But they went whole ass yellow, bro.
Bro, I thought they were on fucking Mars.
Yeah, it's insane how much.
Well, but Better Call Saul added the blue, like dark blue scenes and
for the flashbacks,
black and white scenes. Yeah, which makes like more confusing.
So that's not saying they weren't without their colors, but I just think
and then they took away all the colors.
Yeah, they did do that.
Oh my god, fucking Yin hated that so much
because
Don't
there
even
was
get
no
me started on
context.
I stand by the black and white. I think the black and white is great, personally.
Okay, because Lexa actually brought up something interesting earlier. Pretty sure Marie was wearing purple when she was in the.
Of course she was.
Yeah.
But we have no way to know.
There's.
What do you mean we have no way to know?
It's in black and white, but it kind of looks like I would bet my life.
You guys know you can digitally restore.
She stopped
black
to
and
wear
white,
purple
right?
when Hank died. We noticed that from Breaking Bad.
So purple's actually Hank's favorite color.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
a year
right.
after
I
Hank
like that
died,
theory.
there was no purple in the frame when she was talking to.
I think both of them just like purple.
Yeah, because in their house they had purple like fucking blinds. They had
Toaster.
purple,
They had a purple toaster.
the purple pillows on the couch.
A kettle. Oh my god.
I mean, it was.
It was a kettle. It was a kettle.
There's no way Hank isn't down with that as if he doesn't like purple either.
Yeah, obviously people will accommodate their spouses and everything, but there's only so much you're willing to accommodate without also enjoying it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think Hank's favorite color is something totally different, and they compromise and pick purple.
What, they picked one likes blue, one likes red, they combined it?
I think she just infuriated him, like keeping him alive and angry with that color.
I said compromise, not.
Now, I do kind of like the theory that Marie stops wearing purple after Hank dies. We only saw Marie, but before Better Call Saul ended, we only saw Marie one time during a phone call with Skyler, and I don't think she was wearing purple in that scene.
No,
I'll
it
have
was
to go
all
back and
white
look.
and pink colors.
Yeah. So there's
we see her in Better Call Saul?
Yeah, but that's my point. Before Better Call Saul ended, before we saw that scene.
Okay.
The only time we saw Marie after Hank died, after the fallout with Walt and everything, was her phone call with Skyler in the last episode of Breaking Bad. and I don't believe she's wearing purple then. So there was a big theory.
I feel like
sure.
the sample size is way too small to call that a theory.
Yeah,
but
but
I just see it.
Before Better Call Saul would go in and answer it, like that's a fairly good theory because you would know. I mean, it's all up to speculation. Like, well, how are they ever going to address that? I will say Marie showing up at the end of Better Call Saul was the last fucking thing I expected to see.
That is true. I did not expect that.
That was that.
How did you guys feel?
What about Jesse? Jesse showed up.
So, okay, I'm a little salty about the Walt and Jesse thing at the end of Better Call Saul because I've seen interviews with, not their placement in the show, but just how it's handled. So I've seen interviews with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. They made their scenes super duper secret. It is insane how secretive they filmed their scenes. They secretly flew them out to Albuquerque and then transported them off of the runway into black SUVs, transported them to this like 2-apartment Airbnb kind of thing where they had to live for like 4 or 5 days so that they could shoot their scenes at night, and then they left. And then that was it. And then, you know, they couldn't tell anybody. And then before season 6 starts coming on TV, AMC is like, guess what, guys? Walt and Jesse are coming back. It's like, why would you tell us that? Now everybody is expecting Walt and Jesse at some point in the show, and it just keeps getting put off and put off.
See, I didn't know that, so it was like such a
it was a
surprise
treat
to me. Why would they do that?
I have no idea. Even Bryan Cranston said in interviews, like, yeah, this was all secretive, and then AMC came out and said we were joining. It's like, oh, so I guess I can talk about it now?
Imagine Brian and Aaron.
Wait, so you guys kidnapped us just to tell the world anyway?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
Imagine they pulling like jumping off the the vans and they in Mexico and
it starts getting yellow for them. Like, where are we?
Next to the pool and coming out. Yeah, the hackers coming out.
They have a fucking Super Bowl commercial coming up for Breaking Bad that's being advertised for like some chips or something. I don't know.
For some what?
Some chips. There's like a picture of Aaron Paul.
It's probably Doritos.
Well, no, it's not. It's some fucking brand of chips that I've never even heard of. I don't know how they landed the Breaking Bad sponsorship there, but it's pretty incredible that Breaking Bad ended 10 years ago and it's still like this big. I don't know if Better Call Saul attributes to that as to why Breaking Bad is still this big, because Better Call Saul's viewers are like nothing compared to Breaking Bad. And
that's what I was about to ask. Do you think that Better Call Saul is almost like a continuation of Breaking Bad rather than its own? Like, do you think Better Call Saul was good enough and will become popular enough to stand on its own rather than just be thought of as a Breaking Bad show? Because like I talked to my mom about Better Call Saul because she loved Breaking Bad. She's watched it like 4 or 5 times. So I asked her, "You gonna watch Better Call Saul?" She was like, "Oh, I've been thinking about it. That's the Breaking Bad show, right? Or the like new Breaking Bad show." I was
That's
like,
funny.
Like in my head, it's like the fact that she thinks of it as basically just it is an expansion of the Breaking Bad world, but I mean, I think it did well enough to not be a Breaking Bad show. It's its own show.
I know you're 100% right,
but it also sounds and like it's marketed as milking out of the idea, milking more money. That
out of the Breaking Bad.
That's actually a major reason I didn't watch it originally. I assumed it was just when it first came out. I just assumed it was them trying to milk the franchise for more money. Oh, they took this one character and they're doing a spin-off of him, blah blah blah. It's not gonna be worth watching. That's why I didn't watch it all those years. But
this is crazy. Something me and Pedro agrees on.
That's probably not gonna happen a lot this podcast. But yeah, I just did not expect it to be so fucking good on its own.
I think it definitely it's hard to say because the show does stand on its own until the last 4. And like you guys said, you can watch it without the knowledge of Breaking Bad, but again, like Pedro said, it doesn't hit without the knowledge of what happened before. Because think about it, if you just watch Better Call Saul, what the fuck happens to Mike? What the fuck happens to Gus? Why are we all of a sudden
then you start
this
watching
major event that you... Yeah, but my point is, if you don't stop where we stopped, now what? And then later on, they
it's
talk.
Obvious.
Yeah,
you tell us to stop, but people who get to the season 6, they already prepared and know that probably a lot happening in Breaking Bad, and they need to watch it. And when they start to
Actually,
watch this episode after the episode was stopped, they start like thinking, "Oh, I missed something. I'll go to watch." Like it's not that like magic thing. I think to just figure out that you're missing something and you gotta go and watch it.
I actually changed my mind. Even more so than before. I was saying I think the final 4 episodes you can watch without watching Breaking Bad, but that's actually a really good point. If you go from the end of 609 to the last 4 episodes, literally, if I had done that the whole time, I would be wondering, like, wait, what happened to Mike? Are we going to get closure on that? Like, if I didn't know Breaking Bad existed, like, if I didn't know this was a spin off of Breaking Bad, then the whole time I'd just be like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of interesting. I don't know. That's why I have a hard time thinking about if it could stand without Breaking Bad, because it relies on Breaking Bad for a lot of things in the final season. Up until that point, show stands on its own to all 4 legs, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. And going back to what we were talking about, it is better than Breaking Bad with the cinematography, better writing. I think a thing Breaking Bad has over Saul is the story. I think the story is a little bit more tight and compact in Breaking Bad.
Tight.
Yeah, literally. But it's a little bit more satisfying watching it from beginning to end in regards to Breaking Bad. Saul is a little different, but the writing is still better in Saul, if that makes any sense.
Honestly, if they did Breaking Bad around the same time as Better Call Saul, I think the more modern aspect of it would make it better. Because I agree, the story for Breaking Bad feels better.
Yeah,
it has a more satisfying ending.
I agree.
In terms of quality, I disagree about the first season. I was watching first season. It looked like it's been filmed by rookies because they was using the smaller cameras and even GoPros to put them in a sticky sketchy places to get a cooler shot. But the quality of it and some of the compositions was really rookie like, but it's kind of the unique way they showed the show in the first season.
Yeah, first season of Breaking Bad?
No, Better Call Saul.
Oh.
Better Call Saul.
If I had to take a guess, it probably was still in the trial period, and then it blew up.
Yeah.
Pilot season.
Yeah, it looked like the establishment of a new show. That's what I'm talking about. Because it looked under budgeted. The first season of Better Call Saul looked under budgeted.
I see what you mean. Yeah. What's funny is like for the first season of Better Call Saul had the best viewership, the best ratings like of any of the other seasons because people were coming from Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul. But like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul only gets better as it goes on. Same with Breaking Bad. I'm not going to say the first season of either show is boring, but if you're asking me which season I want to go back and watch on Breaking Bad, I'm watching season 5 over season 1. I'm watching season 4 over season 2. You know what I mean? Same with Better Call Saul. I'm watching season 5 or season 6 over like 1 or 2. Does that make sense? Just because there's a lot more there, at least for me. Which I guess we can kind of.
First season of Breaking Bad was intense. I was surprised when I was rewatching. I was surprised how many things happened up to the episode 3.
Yeah.
They already.
Me too, Alex. Actually, you're right.
They killed the Crazy 8 in episode 3, I believe, and it was like established already, cooked.
Yeah, all that is good. Then there's a couple episodes after that which are kind of slow.
Like I remember, I started watching Breaking Bad from that first episode, and it like blew my mind how it was like just a teacher standing against like something that like unknown with just with underwear and holding a gun, and how is that turned out and how is that actually happened. Yeah, it's really set it up the pace for the show when it started with the earthquake, and then it's even getting worse and worse. The plot is twisting and twisting.
Yeah.
I just remembered something. The night we started watching Better Call Saul, one of the scenes we watched was Walter throwing the not meth explosion.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was.
And
it
then we
was.
started talking about Tuco. I'm like, Tuco's in Breaking Bad or in Better Call Saul. First
That
episode.
is
actually.
how it started.
So
Yeah.
Breaking Bad started it all to begin with, huh?
Yes.
So let's I want to do something fun and go. I want to go person to person, and we are each going to talk about moments that kind of stood out to us, a certain character that meant more to us, or just like, all right, I guess our favorite things, blah blah, favorite episode, favorite character, favorite moment, favorite thing to look back on, even favorite fucking song or whatever. So we'll go from the top down on the Discord thing. So Alex, if you would like to start us off, what would you say? What are your favorite things to take away from both shows and maybe El Camino, if you want to include that?
Development of the characters, and it's kind of I can make a line that both shows they kind of go on into the same direction. So I believe they made a Breaking Bad showed the path of the teacher becoming like maniac and killing everybody on his way to prove he's worth something, and like how he's developing, he's starting like really harder to fight with inner himself, and with the crazy eight it took a lot to kill him and to understand that like it's either his second personality, the Heisenberg, he's like more effective keeping him alive and keep him going with the business, and then evolving the characters. He been like collecting all the characteristics of the people he killed, like from Tuca, some from Crazy Eight. He even started to cut the corners from the breads, and yeah, and then they showed the same way with the Jimmy, with the Saul, like how it was a really cool goal to show how one person can become a Saul, like what should happen to the man so he become that
Just to tick
kind of
the
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's been sleepy on the way, but like this whole situation that's shown to us, it's like change him that much and make him just a like not I don't know how to say that. Yeah. So this development of the characters, I mean, development backwards, I'd say, really impresses me, and I like to
No,
watch
they
that.
both have masterful character development
Yeah, they
stories.
shown they shown the characters as the we like the characters in the first season. We really want to help them. We really them to be like to success, and then they showing what they doing on their way, and they becoming more and more um, criminal and more like violent, and directors asking us every episode, they asking, are you still like him, do you still
Mm-hmm.
want to him to succeed? And then in the last season, if you think about last episodes of every show, last three episodes, they shown again. They shown them weak, and they shown them um,
Like at their worst.
faithless. Yeah, they coming back without again. They lost everything. The Walter lost his family, money, and then directors asking again, like, are you still with them? Do you want them to succeed?
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, the finale is coming.
No, that's, yeah,
I take that.
yeah, I agree that the character development on both shows is just masterful. So you don't have like a specific moment that you liked more than others in either show, like one
Plenty.
that.
Well, I can think of the moment when plenty of moments. From Breaking Bad, it's the first episode was pretty cool, and the moment this is not a math.
Oh yeah.
Basically, every moment when like Heisenberg was prevail on Walter White, when
Mm-hmm.
Walter White killed that two people and saved Jesse, he just becoming not him. Like he just his second part like takes he given away his humanity to the second Heisenberg because he knows that's more efficient and that will keep him alive and his business going.
Yeah.
So
All right. Cool deal. All right, Pedro. What about you?
Um, it's probably the episode that made me go from this is a really good show to this is one of my all-time favorite shows, and it's literally what the Snapchat group is named after right now. But
that's the one that changed it for you. You weren't already on board before that.
I already loved the show. Before that episode, like top 6, top 5 show for me all time. After that, it's probably like 2 or 3, and like that doesn't sound like that big of a jump. That's a pretty big fucking jump.
Oh yeah.
Just incredible writing and direction, plan and execution. Just I like knew something was gonna go wrong because the previous episode was, I think me and Yin and Alex probably had a ton of arguments about this because Alex was saying like how they kind of have like they descend into madness and the split personality of Heisenberg. I kind of see it in a different way. I see it more as those were their real personalities all along, and them losing the things that were holding their humanity is what exposed the real side of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a different way of agreeing with Alex, but they end up in the same place regardless. But in the previous episode, the plan and execution was the episode. I'd already been arguing that Kim at some point was just as bad as Jimmy, and it almost looked like she was the one that was like not letting him become better because she kind of fell in love and got addicted to that high of like getting away with it. And it culminates in just frankly a disgusting scene of basically them being so horny at ruining this guy's life. Like they fucking destroyed
He's not a guy.
This man.
It's our boy. It's the hero.
Yeah,
of
our
the story.
fucking boy Howard.
Mr.
That
Howard.
in the very first season when you first are introduced to this character, well, right at first you're like, okay, he's just like kind of an uptight like lawyer type dude. He's kind of douchey, but like he's not evil or bad or anything. And then as you get to know him, he becomes the main villain at first, and then he gets sort of redeemed, but like not perfectly. But then you clearly see, like, this is a human. This is, like, just a normal dude that's trying his best and does actually care, but his marriage is currently falling apart, and he's being tormented by these people. And he knows he's being tormented by these people, but he can't really call them out because he just looks crazy, and by calling them out, he just gives them what they want. And he tries to ignore them, like, at first. He, like, knows what's happening, and he, like, asks Jimmy to stop, or he offers him a job because he still thinks that he was partially responsible for Chuck's death, which is crazy to me, but this guy is trying to make up for what he did, and Jimmy cannot do that because Jimmy needs him to feel guilty because Jimmy doesn't want to feel guilty. So by having Howard be the one that's continuously feeling guilty, it gives Jimmy an out. And Jimmy and Kim cannot stand for this, so they continue to torment him, and it escalates to the point that they make the man look as if he's a drug-addicted maniac at this
like super important meeting.
This,
yeah,
the super important meeting where
for the lawsuit. Yeah,
and he just looks absolutely insane because not only does he look like he's super high, he's now accusing these random people of sabotaging him. And when he says, like, here's the proof, I know. And it turns out that, once again, Jimmy and Kim got ahead of him and planted the PI.
Mm-hmm. That reveal is so good.
Oh, my God.
When he's running out to the car and he throws it, and then the PI just gives him a thumbs up.
Oh, my God. That's
like such a random reveal. It's like, I saw that.
Yeah. And just, like, how that scene of Kim and Jimmy having sex was just like the point in the show for me where it was like, these are not good people. Like Alice was saying, the director is asking, are you still cheering for these people? And for me, I was already leaning towards no. Jimmy way early. Jimmy was like season 3 or 4. I was already off the Jimmy train. And then Kim, like the whole time I was just screaming, Kim, please leave him. Kim, please leave him before it gets ruined for you. And then at that episode is like where the light switches. It's like, no, they're just both horrible people, and to see how smug they are when they're in their apartment, like celebrating. They bring out the wine. They're like waiting for Howard to show up, and then you see the candle flicker, and you're like, "Oh no, is it Lalo?" And the door opens, and it's Howard, and it's like, "Oh, okay, it's just Howard."
And it takes
Oh,
your
it's gonna be
mind,
really
yeah.
hard.
You're
Yeah,
waiting
just...
for Lalo because he already showed up like that once.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
waiting.
Like
You wanted
Lalo...
them to be punished. You
Yes,
wanted them to be
I
punished
literally...
by Lalo for their deed.
I literally wanted them to be punished for what they did, and I'm half expecting Lalo to show up when the first candle flickers, and then it doesn't happen, and that literally drops my guard so hard. I just think it's gonna be a rough scene, and Howard's like, "You guys may have ruined me, but I know I'm a good enough person to rebuild what I've done, blah blah blah," and then the candle flickers again, and you see the fucking sheer terror on Saul and Kim's face, and it's just the writing, the pacing, the acting was fucking incredible. How Lalo walks through the door so nonchalantly, and Howard is still going off, and then he sees their faces and sees Lalo, and he's like, "What's going on?" And then he's like, I'm trying to remember, but I think he almost says something to Lalo like, "You probably shouldn't get involved with these guys.
No. So
shit that'll ruin your life."
he asked him, he's like, "Wait, who are you?" And Lalo's like, "Me? Nobody. I'm just here to
yeah,
talk to
I'm
my
nobody."
lawyers." And he's like, "Oh, you want some advice? Find better lawyers."
Yeah. Like, dude, like to Howard, nothing bad is like happening yet. But then, just in the middle of this motherfucker Lalo is just casually putting a silencer on a gun, and that's when Howard realizes, "Oh fucking shit!
I think I'm in the middle of something.
am caught in the middle of something." And
and that was it.
My fucking god, when Howard gets shot, bro, like I just couldn't. It was so bad for me in like the most satisfying way. It was like the villains got away with it. Like the good guy did not win. Like Howard wasn't perfect, but he is the good guy in this case. And the people who like destroyed his life, the villains, get away with it. They get him killed. And then in the next episode, how they fucking frame him as just having a cocaine overdose. It's just, oh my god. That episode is probably my single favorite episode of television ever. It's just incredible.
It's just like the Game of
so
Thrones.
good, man.
Bad guys getting away.
Yeah, it's just...
I don't know what it is about shows like
so
having bad guys
perfectly.
getting away. It makes it so satisfying. Like maybe satisfying is not the right word, but makes it
It's not satisfying.
just
You
good
keep watching
storytelling.
until they punish.
Yeah,
You keep watching.
it's amazing storytelling. It's satisfying in the sense of excitement, but obviously not satisfying in
like,
the
oh,
I
fuck,
feel
yeah.
good about
You're
this
not
way.
yeah, you keep watching just to see them.
Howard's death was
Like,
definitely.
I think when I watched that episode, I was so fucking happy I didn't have to wait a week to watch the next one.
We jumped into it. It was like 3 in the morning. Okay, and then, guys,
And what?
we were
Like, I watched
just
that
coming.
episode, we could not stop.
Alex was like, "Please, I want to go to bed." And then Pedro said, "Alex, you don't understand. I don't care if we watch this episode together or not. I'm watching it right now." And I was like, "All right, we're staying."
I was
we're
like,
staying
"Sorry,
that
bro,
much."
I need to watch this shit."
But yeah, no, that's a great moment. Absolutely. All right, so Lex, what would you say your favorite parts of the show, or both shows? And obviously, I think we know who your favorite character is, but say it for the boys in the back.
My favorite character?
Yeah, or just your favorite part of the show, or
favorite
the thing
weed.
that stuck out.
What was that person's name? Oh, Kim Sexler. Kim Sexler, my bitch.
You like him more than Jimmy? Or, I'm not Jimmy. Jesse.
Oh, I was gonna say, of course, more than Jimmy. What? My favorite character from Breaking Bad is Jesse. And then Better Call Saul, it would be a tie between Kim and Nacho.
I was about to ask, so like in the hierarchy between the three, like what's the order?
I forgot that you were a Nacho stan too.
I'm a huge
Really
Nacho
good.
stan. I honestly might put Nacho number 1
Really?
because my favorite scene out of all 3 things is Nacho's speech.
Right before he
dies?
dies?
Right before he dies.
It's so
The speech is
fucking good.
legendary. And it wasn't even true. But he just wanted to like pull one last one on him.
Yes.
Nacho
The part where he says
true.
is true. Yeah. That's what made the lie work, was because half of it he lied. Yeah, they've been paying me for years. By the way, that wheelchair you're in, I put you there, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, dude. Oh my god. And then the one dude who's like the most useless fucking mafia or cartel member ever.
Juan Bolsa, bro.
I just liked it so
head.
much because he knew for the longest time. I feel like there was a long period of time where he knew he was dead. Yeah. And he followed through, like,
went out kind of on his own terms. There.
I think he basically knew he was dead as soon as
he was
Lalo
surviving.
As soon as Lalo got involved, bro, he knew he was done.
So
Yeah.
that's so sad. He was like diving in the tank of the oil.
Yeah.
And do
Dude,
all
this
this
dude
stuff
did
to
so
survive,
much to survive. Oh
and just
my
go
God.
and give up with the frame.
I don't think he gave up. He just didn't have an option.
What's so
because
fucked up is that Gus...
If he didn't do that, his dad would have died.
Yeah.
And he knew that.
I think it's so fucked up when you realize that Gus could have pulled him out of Mexico at any point, and when and the only reason he did is because Nacho told him, all right, I agree, I'll die to make your story happen. And Gus is like, all right, and then it cuts to the next scene, Nacho's back in Albuquerque. Like, oh, they had literally no issue getting him out, but Gus was leaving him on that string.
I guess considering what happened to... Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's your turn anyway.
Considering what happened to everyone else, like, I guess Kim got away nicely. Like, she got a good end to her.
Okay.
Oh no.
I hate her boyfriend.
It's like
are you sure about that?
I don't think... No,
yeah,
okay.
because, like, I don't know if the... Yeah.
But think about it. Out of everybody there...
You're saying yep.
Out of...
Yeah. It was worse. It was
They didn't confirm if the ex-wife is gonna... The widow's gonna...
No, they never confirmed, so it's speculation if she's gonna pursue it or not.
It's still not alive. She lives in a...
Yeah, well, like, and they're not pressing charges. Like, she gets to live her life.
It's not alive.
Yeah, but her life is with Tom, who...
Well,
it's like arguing who's from the Requiem on a Dream, who has the better ending. It's like arguing about that.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with Lex that Kim definitely gets one of the better endings of all the characters in both shows. Because the Waterworks episode is rough to sit through because of how shitty her life is. But in the finale, she's starting after confessing about what she did to Howard and everything. Now she's going to a volunteer law firm and stuff. So she's starting to get that spark back. And we don't really see a lot of it because then we focus all of our attention on Jimmy and his shit. But
that's what I think is, in this case, in that framing, I wouldn't say she necessarily has the best ending, but she has the most hopeful one. Because Saul is going to prison for most of the rest of his life.
No,
he literally could have gotten... Yeah, he could have gotten away with...
Not
Did
Jesse.
they say no parole? Did they say no parole?
No, it doesn't matter. They gave him 86 years.
yeah, but he'd probably knock that down to like 30 at some point.
That was if he
wanted to knock it down.
He would have kept the 7 years.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. He can, but like if you behave in prison, they're probably gonna knock it down. But anyway, that doesn't matter. He's in prison for life. Walter is dead. Jesse is like in hiding for the rest of his life, and if he ever gets caught, he's going down. At least Kim has found that spark again and has finally kind of faced her demons and finally faced, well, she didn't really face consequences, just she might not be getting any punishment at all, but at least personal redemption, she was able to admit what she did. So she definitely has the most hopeful ending.
I don't think saying she faced zero consequences is quite fair because she definitely isn't. Her state of mind in the second to last episode of Saul is so heartbreaking to see.
Okay, let me say it like this. If I had watched Plan and Execution and then I was the jury as she came up, this bitch is getting life.
That's fair. So, all right, cool. All right, I guess for me, I mean, Pedro kind of already stole my thunder in my favorite moment.
That's why when he said we're going down the Discord list, I immediately looked and saw that I was above you. I was like, yes.
But I mean, and I agree. I think that Howard's spiel to Kim and Jimmy in the apartment is probably one of the greatest like speeches in both shows, only to have it abrupted by a fucking menace. And I love how you don't see him at first. You just know. You're like, and that sinking feeling in your gut before they actually show him walking in the room. You're like, holy fucking shit. What? I can't believe this is actually happening. But
like the fact that almost me, Alex, and Yin would constantly argue about shit, and then sometimes you guys would tell me to like shut up and shit. But like, I think those 3 episodes, at some point, you guys asked, "Is Pedro still here?"
Yeah,
I was so fucking focused on those 3 episodes, and especially that scene. I think at some point I hadn't talked. The episode had ended for 5 minutes, and I still hadn't said anything because I was just like, my mind was just blown.
Wait, you say you stopped playing TFT on that episode?
Shut the fuck up.
You were so focused.
I remember having to ask if you were there during Howard's speech in the apartment.
Yes.
I was like, Pedro, are you here? Something important is about to happen. But anyway, jumping off of that, I think like some of the greater moments. Okay, well, my favorite character is Lalo, like without a doubt. I think he's the greatest villain to be put to screen in the last decade. I wasn't even on the Lalo train at first. It took me a while for me to actually like not root, but like love the dude. Love to watch the dude. And I think the scene that won me over was the first time he walked into Kim and Jimmy's apartment. After Jimmy did the thing in the desert for him, and he's knocking on the door. He's like, "Hey guys, you got a nice place here." But his transformation from that charismatic like dude, just like, just tell me what happened. What's going on? And Jimmy's like, I mean, I walked to the desert, got your money, and that was it. Whatever. And then he just sits on the couch and looks at me. He's like, "Tell me again." And it's like, holy shit, that fucking scene is so good. It's like, even with Mike on the rooftop across, like with the sniper, like I still did not feel great for Kim and Jimmy inside. It's like,
yes,
this motherfucker ain't joking, bro. He's like, I just want what happened. It's so good. The acting, Tony Dalton does so good with Lalo. It is amazing. But jumping from the shows, I want to say one of my favorite moments in Breaking Bad would be that fucking crawl space scene. When Walt not the funny fucking rot one. Fuck off.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
When Walt
Joker laugh.
When he runs in and realizes all his money is gone, she's like, I gave it to Ted. That whole scene, and something that we haven't talked about in the podcast yet, but the composer for both shows, Dave Porter, I think is his name. Fucking genius. His work in Breaking Bad was already like top tier, but his motifs in Better Call Saul are like even better. I think Lalo's motif is haunting. The little thumb picks that play when he walks into Jim and Kimmy's apartment, like it's so it's bone chilling. It makes that scene for me is Dave Porter's music, but same thing with the crawl space scene. That just his music in that scene, and in a couple episodes later when Gus dies, which Gus may have the best death in all of in both shows. He went out spectacularly, in my opinion. He might not
Tyrus?
Be the
Not Tyrus.
I always forget Tyrus dies with Gus. I always think it's like Hector and Gus's death, which I think is a perfect bow tie to the stories for those two.
Yes,
because they are both shitty people, equally shitty. Like you can argue like maybe Hector's done worse shit than Gus, but Gus is a terrible, terrible person. Like,
actually, now you say that, it kind of makes me realize that I think the framing of that scene is intentional, where it's like Gus has always had this mask, where even at the end, like this guy is like completely burnt up and disfigured, he's still like straightening out his suit, straightening out his tie, and then he falls over. Like, even despite being the disfigured monster, he still he still has to keep the image. Like it's literally a perfect representation of what he is.
Yeah, it's so good. His death is. Pedro. I am shocked. You did not. I mean, I'm sure you knew he was gonna die, but I'm shocked you have never seen a clip of that in the 10 years.
To be honest, I don't think I told you guys this, but like 3 weeks before we watched that episode, a random Reddit comment spoiled that for me. Like it wasn't even anything about Breaking Bad, but someone made a comment.
Yeah, I mean that's why I
basically said Gus blown up in the hospital, and I was like, God fucking damn it! I was so close. I've never been spoiled for this, and then 3 weeks before we watched it, get spoiled. But even when I saw the scene, I was still like, holy fucking shit.
I knew a couple things going into Breaking Bad when I watched it. I didn't know the character of Gus, but I had seen that scene before, the motherfucker walking in the hallway, straightening his tie, and half his face is gone, and he falls over. I knew about that. I knew going into it that Walt would be dead, because I think I read a comment like, oh, Walter White died, it was sad. But then after I finished the show, I'm like, I don't know if that was sad. That motherfucker definitely...
Okay, so I actually had the opposite. I fucking... For some reason, when El Camino came out, or maybe it was when Breaking Bad ended, because I wasn't keeping up with the show, I could have sworn that people said that Walter White's death was vague and he might still be alive. And so when we got to like the last few episodes, I'm like waiting to like find out, because for some reason I thought like it was going to be a shootout at his at the original RV, but then we get to the last few episodes, and then I see him die, and I'm like, this shit isn't vague at all.
No, those people are idiots.
No, they could put him in an emergency and like.
Yeah,
theoretically,
cops like
yes.
came there and like actually resuscitated it. But that's not like that's not vague. That's like this guy's definitely dead unless they pull some bullshit to bring him back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way I remember it being described, or at least talked about, because again, this was like me overhearing people talking about it.
Yeah.
I thought I just didn't expect that. So I was like, oh. No, this motherfucker's dead.
Yeah, I agree. That's why the director said it too. Vince Gilligan said something like, "Oh, people kept asking me, is Walter White really dead?" And I'm like, I keep telling them, "Did you watch the show?" Yes. And that's why during the first 5 minutes of El Camino, one of the news reports says, "Oh, Walter White found dead on the scene." It was like just to establish, all right, motherfuckers, he's actually dead. Stop asking me. But nah, I think Walt's death is also like really, really cool. I love the song. Oh man, what's it called? The Baby Blue.
My Baby
Blue. Baby Blue song. It fits so perfectly, and it catches you so off guard because you really haven't heard like any music for like almost the entire episode. I want to say, like leading up to
it was silent.
Yeah, leading up to the last scene, the last shot, and when it hits hard, and that's like one of my favorite songs.
Do they do any scenes with music with lyrics? I can't think of that many in Breaking Bad.
In Breaking Bad,
yes.
Yeah, they did a few. At the end of season 4, they had one called Black, I think is what the song is called, but it's really cool. It's when they revealed the Lily of the Valley in Walt's backyard.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, that, and then I mean, there's a couple.
I was thinking of the one in Better Call Saul where you get introduced to Lalo, and it's just like, ay, mi caballo. I fucking love that one. Wait, there's the...
Think about horse.
What episode was it? The mariachi band opening.
In Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yes, that was so...
Yeah,
that was really
good.
Opening.
Yeah.
I think I made us go back and rewatch it because I liked it so much.
I forgot that you did that.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love that one.
So, but yeah, that would be for me. I mean, I definitely probably my favorite character.
So, what did you say the music theme for the Lalo?
Hit Lalo's motif. So there's like a couple of cues for him. So when he has like a central theme when he's in Kimmy and Jim's apartment, and it is very, very haunting. And it starts playing when you see that fucking second candle flicker. Is when it starts the music starts creeping into the scene because it's so silent. You really haven't heard any music up to this point. And when that fucking candle flickered, then the music started creeping in. Then you knew what was going down because only one other time did that musical cue play, and it was when he was telling Jimmy to tell me again about the story. So it was just this looming threat. And also, it's a similar cue for Lalo is when he is the same episode for the first time he was in Kimmy and Jem's apartment when Nacho takes him down to Mexico. And he's like, just leave me here. It's fine. And then he's like standing there for a little bit when his mind is like working it out. It's like, wait a minute. Shouldn't his car be around here somewhere? And then that's when he goes like car hopping and does an actual Superman jump into a fucking canyon on Jimmy's car. Lalo, that's my favorite thing about Lalo, honestly, is that he's not human.
Yeah, like when he crossed through the vents silently, he ends up behind, what was that guy's name? That wasn't Lyle. The fucking guy,
the travel wire guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Fred, I think his name was.
That motherfucker went through the vents in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it was so... that and in Germany at Miss Ziegler's house, when he went in that tiny little window in like 1 second.
Could you imagine how fucked up it would have been if this dude fucked...
If he banged Mrs. Ziegler, I thought it was going there, bro.
He was 100% in, bro. She wanted it. If this man wanted to... Oh
It's not
my
on the
god.
first date.
Lalo, he's a Sigma, bro.
Lalo's a gentleman.
So
that was my question. I asked you. I heard like you say the music theme was hunting, like Lalo is hunting.
Haunting.
And I was asking, how about like MILF hunting when he was with the Mrs.
With Ziegler, yeah.
house?
Alright. But that's me, so we'll go to Yin.
Okay, I got a lot of time to think about this. I'm going to do an unpopular take and say my favorite character is Walter White.
Nice.
Unpopular take.
It's kind of weird.
No, I like him. I like Walter White too.
Okay.
No,
Out
go
of the
ahead.
way. So, I'm going to preface this with Jimmy's defense for himself at the end of Better Call Saul. So, the government was trying to paint Walter White as this super, super bad person, right? And Jimmy's defense was essentially, hey, the worse you make Walter White looks, the easier it is for me because it just makes me feel like I'm just under his pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Better Call Saul did for me for Breaking Bad. Everything that's awesome that's happened in Better Call Saul, anytime something happens, all I can think about is you're going to get taken down by a chemistry teacher. The more heroic things happen in Better Call Saul where, Gus kills Lalo, takes down this super, powerful Mexican cartel guy. It just make what Walter White did in Breaking Bad all the more impressive.
I agree.
And as far as him as a person, honestly, obviously he's super smart. But I think deep down he actually does have a good heart. He doesn't know how to get his emotions in check. So a lot of the quote-unquote bad things he did is just him acting emotional. And what reminded me of that is earlier today, rewatching the last episode of Better Call Saul, where when Jimmy asked Walter, what is your biggest regret? For a brief moment, Walter looks at the watch Jesse gave him for his birthday, which caught me off guard. I missed that the first couple of times watching it. So it's things like that where it shows me that if given time to think about his actions, he would possibly do the right thing. But when his emotions aren't in check, he just ratted Jesse out. Told him I killed your girlfriend all those years back. But everything he did in the show is somewhat justifiable to me. Whether it's for the good of his family, for the good of himself.
That's a take.
This is why I like it. Yeah, for Pedro, the line is so much
everything.
closer. For Yen, it's never happened.
He definitely did some fucked up stuff that was justifiable.
Yeah, literally, I'm with Lutza.
Not everything.
I was literally with you, Yen, until he said everything he did was justified. I was like, this man blew up a hospital.
Can be.
This man fucking took down the plane. What? Okay, how do you justify
the God, I don't want to talk about this fucking plane. Not again.
Okay. So
okay. Second of all,
let's put it this
was
way.
the hottest character in the show, but that's not important right now. He let his girlfriend die
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you justify that?
So that part, and that's something I can think about. So if he had known what he did there would have took down the plane and killed all those people, I don't think he would have done that.
Are you
That's
sure?
something
Because he
that's-
literally went to the fucking town or the school meeting and was like, "Well, I did stats on this, and you're more likely to die in a fucking car than a plane crash. So if you think about it,
I
we're actually
forgot
really
about that
lucky."
scene.
Dude, that scene. I'm gonna be honest. That scene was so hard to watch. Like I think at some point I muted the fucking Discord stream and just like looked at my other screen or something because I couldn't listen to it anymore.
Breaking Bad has a couple of those. I don't think there is a scene like that in Better Call Saul. It's like, I can't watch this right now. Like even the Howard scene when Howard's making a fool of himself in the meeting is like,
Yes.
you're still watching the culmination of Kim and Jimmy's
Yes.
plan. Like it's still not satisfying, but it's still visually to watch. In Breaking Bad, you have the fucking happy birthday scene. You have that scene in the school.
Oh
you have
my
him
God,
trying to make
forgot
moves
about
on the
happy
fucking
birthday.
principal. When
Yeah,
he
that
tries
was
to
weird.
make out with the principal, and she's like, what
Okay,
is wrong with you?
Actually, to be
That's a
fair,
special
Guys,
sauce.
I
They
the
do
guy
that
saying yep
awkward
over and
things.
over.
They do that
kind of
awkward
feel
things
him
for the
there.
first season.
But anyway,
So going
yeah,
back to the
yeah.
point. So I think if he had known his action would have had that much of consequence, he would have saved Jane.
Okay,
Right
but
now, without that in consideration, I think if he were given that same choice, he probably would have let Jane die. Not to say I don't like Jane. She's my favorite character, or my favorite female character in that show. But I honestly think that was necessary for him to let happen for Jesse's better life. Because you got to think back to what was going on back then. Had he not stopped or saved Jane's life, I mean, honestly, you could argue that if he saved her life there, their life could turn around. But Jesse was going down on a dark path again. He was starting to use. The only difference is he was about to be given enough money to overdose.
Yeah.
Way more than enough.
okay, the issue is
Which is why he broke in there in the first place.
Wasn't it him who got her to start spiraling down, or
No,
I'm
so
forgetting, actually.
It was when Combo died.
So Combo died, and Jesse's like, all right, listen, I'm gonna smoke some meth. You need to get out of here. And then she's like, all right. And then she walks up to the door, and then she changes her mind, and she stays with him. So I'm assuming they went and got high together after that. And then it was after that when she's like, all right, well, I'm already here. It's time to go get some fucking heroin. And then she brought
Okay,
that.
that sounds
into
like it was
Jesse's house and-
actually Jesse's fault.
What's that?
Like it wasn't her ruining his life. This was Jesse that fucking ruined her life. And
Jesse
then
did
she started
okay.
ruining
She
his
no,
life
she
back,
made
but-
she made that choice.
It was
though.
mutual.
She made that choice to go back and smoke with him. She could have kicked him out because that was
All right,
before
so we're
she.
talking about her possibly influencing him and like. leading
Think
to
about
his
the
death
fact
over-
that she just had heroin lying around.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
but
cannot
we know
place the
for-
blame on it.
We know for a fact that she wasn't using it.
So why did she have it, you think?
Well, no, she didn't just have heroin lying around. She went and got it after they
Yeah.
smoked up.
Was it not from her house?
No, she went and collected it probably from a dealer that she probably knew beforehand. I would imagine.
maybe-
that's the
maybe-
that's the implication that I got from it.
I think the scene you're remembering, Yin. I think the scene you're remembering is when all that heroin is on the desk, but I think that happens later. Like I don't.
Yeah, probably.
I think she went and got heroin.
But anyway,
Like hitting
so
the meth is what like reminded her of it.
But then that's still completely her decision. It's like
Yeah.
Jesse's like,
Okay,
I
it was
and Jane
Jesse-
just
it was
comes.
Jesse's- It was Jesse's decision to start doing heroin. How are we
Right,
blaming-
right, but
what is this?
But it's more. But it's more on her because Jesse's like, I'm bummed out, and Jane just comes over. You know what would really help? Some heroin.
That was literally true. He literally felt like he was floating, and all his pains disappeared. He
that
made
scene
the
is so
conscious
fucking
choice.
whack, bro.
Yeah, that shows. What upsets me most about the scene is she says, "I'll meet you up there," and then he floats by himself.
Never.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, bitch, where are you? I'm up here by myself. Get up here. But no. Okay, so I don't know if I can agree with justifying that. My issue with that take is that if you continuously make horrible decisions when you're put under pressure, then you're a horrible person. Like, I understand that he had deep down the fucking Grinch's heart could have grown 3 sizes, but this motherfucker, every single time he was under any kind of pressure, his solution was, "Oh, I'll bomb a motherfucker." Like, that's not a normal human being, bro.
It's
This
not.
guy, we could have
It's
ended
normal.
the show in episode 4. Or episode 3? No. When the fuck did they offer him money?
Oh, Gretchen and Elliot? Yeah, like episode 5.
Yeah, this entire show could have been a 5-episode series where they're like, we're going to give you all this money to help cure your cancer.
That would never happen.
I know it wouldn't happen, just it wouldn't be a fucking good show. It'd be a fucking shit show.
No, as in, you got to think about his personality. The fact
That's
that
what I'm
his
saying.
ego
He
makes
is
him...
a bad person.
Whoa.
There is no such thing
I
as
missed
a bad
these
or
guys.
or
This
good
is
person.
why I wanted to do this. I missed this so much.
I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen at some point in this podcast, and I knew. I tried not to argue with Alex on his first one because I kind of agree, but not completely. But as soon as Yin said Walter White,
Everything is
I was just over here rubbing
No,
my
it
hands
is
like,
like-
he's falling for it.
I'm literally sitting away from my mic so you don't hear me scream.
You need to get closer because it sounds like shit when you talk across the room.
Yeah,
Okay, my bad.
it's a podcast.
So, anyway, so back to Yin. You said that Walt's your favorite character doing all these things. We might not agree with all what you said, but
Exactly.
what would you
I-
say
it-
your
it-
favorite scene would be throughout
Ooh.
any of the shows, or at least
It's got
one
to
of.
be, and this is just my love for Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
When he was calling Skylar after everything went down and Hank died,
Boy, yeah.
the way he was talking and said,
Yeah,
"You will never see Hank again." That was 100% my favorite.
That I forgot. He wanted
will
Zimmy
say
for
that
scene.
scene.
Yeah.
That scene is genuine. That scene is 100% like one of the moments where Walter is being like he knows how bad he's fucked up. Like there is no excusing it. He literally says, obviously he says it that way because goddamn, you remind me of that scene. That scene is so fucking good with him, obviously knowing that the police are listening to Skylar, and he's trying to do what he can to save Skylar by basically saying it was all him. But how gut rushing it is for what's it called In the Room too?
What's that?
Who?
Wasn't
Marie.
oh my god, what's her name?
Oh, Marie,
wasn't
Marie, yeah,
Marie
yeah.
In the Room? Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
for him to say you will never see Hank again, oh my god, dude, that was so hard to watch.
The way he says it, his acting is just top.
Yeah,
tier.
incredible.
I love that, and I love Lex's name when he and Hank are having to stare off in the garage. And he's like, "Oh, if you really don't know who I am, then maybe your best course would be to tread lightly." It's like, oh,
Yes, yeah.
Which actually, talking about that, the Walter scene actually got me thinking. So the episode, I think it was after, where he just talked to his son, and when he learned that his son just absolutely hates his guts, would not take his money, does not want to take his money, wishes him to die. He was going to give up. He called the police on himself, wanted to turn himself in, and then he figured out a way to get his money to his kid. That whole scene, the music,
Dave fucking Porter, man, is so good. That musical scene hits so fucking good.
And it seems like that where watching, and I don't remember what I thought while watching Breaking Bad for the first time, but obviously he gets painted up as some sort of the anti-hero or almost a bad guy as the show goes on and on.
Wait,
but
who does?
It was up until Walter.
Almost as a bad guy?
No, he definitely is an anti-hero.
It's an opinion thing. That's what I'm saying.
No, he's right.
So until it gets to that point where it almost seems like to me that his true care is family. I know at the end of the show he even said, I like doing it because I was good at it. But in my mind, the way I see it, his family's always been at the least top 2.
It's just for him. Wait.
That huge opinion you just laid out
No,
for us?
I mean I understand
Fuck
the both
that.
sides.
Yeah. No,
I understand the both sides.
That's what I'm saying. These are They're supposed to be unpopular takes.
No, I'm not taking away from that. It's just that the way you said that
timing, bro.
This guy is a family man. At least top 2. At least top 2.
No, as in family's like the one of the top 2 things that you cared about.
I know what you mean, but the way you phrased it was so funny. Just like you had this whole build up about how because he loves his family, that's like that's his humanity, that's his redeeming quality, and then you put it at second place. It's just oh my god.
That's why I said. That's why I said at least.
Yeah,
you know?
I got it.
Because What was I going with that? So and it's the point where he's given up and then coming back to just leaving the bar. That's where I was going. Like the fact that he's given up, but the only thing that sparked him back into being Walter White again is knowing the fact that, hey, I can get my money to my kids.
Yeah, it only took rage-inducing interview with his former colleagues to snap him out of it.
And start planning about Jesse too. Like he made the whole plan, up there in New Hampshire. Probably some details on the way down.
Well, for him, Jesse was already dead. He didn't know Jesse was alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he thought that, Jesse's going with Jack and Todd, they're going to go kill him. All right, so Jesse's dead. He didn't know Jesse was alive until...
I mean, he asked right after he finished his plan with, transferring money to the son, he started thinking about Jesse. He asked instantly, when the deal is done, he asked, okay, what's next?
Well, yeah, after that, you're
I
right.
heard someone's still cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he heard someone was cooking, that's why he asked about Jesse. But, so in that final episode, when he goes to the house, do you guys think he was going there to kill Jesse? Like, in my mind, the way he sees it,
yes,
he thinks...
No, yeah, he was. Absolutely.
Yeah, the way I
he
see
was,
it,
100%.
As soon as he found out that someone was still making blue meth, and to that quality, he knew there was only one other person that could do that, and it was Jesse.
But in his mind,
he thought Jesse was doing it willingly.
Yeah,
he went to the house planning to kill everybody, and then they bring out Jesse, and he sees him, and that's, again, Yin says, that's the moment where it's his humanity does come back to him, and he's like, what does he say to Jesse? Does he say get down, or does he tackle him?
No, he tackles him. He didn't say anything to him. He just tackles him to the ground.
Yeah, he tackles him to the ground and saves him, and then everyone gets killed, and then I think that's the only reason Jesse, that one moment, doesn't kill Walter, because as much as he hates Walter, because technically everything that has happened to Jesse was because of Walter. They could have just made some drugs and fucking worked for Gus forever and had a happy life, but Walter...
Mike nails it perfectly to get talking shit to Walter before he died. Mike was 100% right when he's we had a good thing, you son of a bitch.
And that's actually something that got me thinking. If Walter didn't kill Gus, do you guys think Gus would have killed Walter?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I don't. No. Gus bring Walter to the desert because he didn't want to kill him. He tried to scare him. With his family,
no,
and he did it politely. He said, "I will take everything you have." Yes,
I politely threatened to murder your baby child.
No. He said that after Walter White pull up his eyes and ask, "And what if I still will do that?" And there is no other way. You either go into the end and threaten the whole family. The only thing he's what? How did you say? The only thing he likes while he's not, it's just his ego. That's what he's.
Yeah, but Gus knew that when he went there. When Gus knew that Walter was going to say no.
Gus couldn't kill him because.
Yeah, but he was okay. What else? What else he can offer?
No. Gus knew that no matter what he said to Walter, Walter was going to do whatever he wanted. That's why Gus wanted to kill him.
No. At that point, Gus would kill him because Gus
could not kill him because he needed
he could
Jesse.
not kill him.
He could not kill him.
Jesse wouldn't.
Jesse was.
Yeah.
Yeah, little Jesse said, "If you kill him, you might as well kill me."
And I think Jesse eventually would have come around on it if
now
Gus
that
had
I think about it,
manipulating him.
Yeah. So what? Gus against the whole Salamanca family, who's maniacs, and he's afraid of Jesse, just a rookie. What?
Well, he would have killed Walt, and he would have killed Hank too, because Hank was on the Gus. Hank was almost. He knew where the lab was, everything.
He would never find Walter in the desert of Mexico.
No, but then Hank would die shortly afterwards.
Yeah, Gus had to kill Hank as well because Hank was about to catch him. But what I'm saying is, if Gus loses Jesse, he basically loses his empire because anyone can make shitty meth.
Wait, yeah. So that actually sounds kind of interesting. So if he kills Walt, Jesse also leaves. He doesn't get his great cooks anymore, right?
Exactly.
So here's my thing, actually. Couldn't he just do what the fucking Nazis did?
I mean, maybe he did kidnap Jesse at the end.
The way you're saying it sounds like I'm so familiar with Nazis. No, what did they do?
My favorite. Killed everyone in the jails.
My favorite
thing
he
could have literally just fucking.
during the
in the
rewatch.
show. I thought you meant in history.
What? Oh
No,
my
okay,
god.
Jesus Christ.
Nazis.
No, my favorite thing with Uncle Jack, Pedro's like, okay, if they weren't Nazis, he'd be the coolest guy in the show.
Okay, actually, wait, I forgot to talk about this. Fucking Todd, bro. Oh my
Todd.
god.
Our boy
the
Todd.
Wait,
whole...
we didn't finish with the previous topic.
I don't give a fuck. My
Yeah,
fucking...
So okay, no.
Rolling around.
Yeah.
So
go
what
ahead.
I was gonna say is so he would lose Jesse and Walt.
Yes.
But so what is he losing out on? His revenue stream?
Yeah.
I mean, he was totally willing to kill Werner Ziegler, knowing that might as well have ended his
No,
meth-making empire.
because
for
Gus
No.
knew that he could find somebody else to do the dig.
But
Yeah.
it took a long, long time. It's the same way he would think he can just get someone else to make the meth too. Granted, it won't be as good.
Wait, did it really
quality,
take
which
that
is-
long? Didn't they...
I don't think it
didn't
took that long.
They
'cause
have
the whole Lalo thing lasted like a couple of months.
Yeah, they just had the German...
Season-wise, it probably did, but I think, yeah,
like
it
the
might have taken
timeline
shorter
wise,
than
it
I
wasn't
thought,
that
yeah.
big.
Didn't they just have the Germans
Like
finish
the
it or
day,
something?
no, they didn't
couldn't.
have. They didn't have the Germans fix it because Lalo went and killed one of them in Germany.
Yeah,
But
yeah, you're right.
the day after he killed Lalo, the day when he got back from Mexico, he turned to Mike and said, "Find some more builders. Like,
Yeah.
we're free to continue construction now that
Yeah.
Lalo's dead." Like, he was just
But-
he was on the grind.
If Jesse dies and he goes back to like 90% pure meth, like remember what Gail said, like the difference between 90% and 98% is like the universe or whatever the fuck he said.
Yeah,
nerd.
yeah.
Right, which
the
is why
nerd.
the fact that he was willing to kill Walt to lose that extra couple percent, because there's no way Jesse's going to replicate that.
Jesse did.
Jesse
he got
was
96.
99.1? No.
No,
I'm talking
No,
about last
Walt,
3%.
Walt never. Wait, did Walt?
Jesse
hit that
never
high?
got quite the percent that Walt did. Walt was the
Yeah,
only
Jesse
one
hit
that
like-
reigned higher.
Jesse
But
hit like 98.
yeah,
96. Well,
Was it
at the end
96?
of the show, maybe?
at the end of the show,
Throughout
yeah, I
season
think so.
4 is definitely 98, 96.
I just remember in
Yeah, 'cause
Mexico
when they
he
took
was
him
like
to
96.
Mexico-
Yeah.
Yeah, he had 96,
96.
which is still like way higher than Gale.
No, Gale's is 96.
No, Gale
No,
never made it to
Gale's-
96. I don't think.
Gale was like 92 or 98.
Yeah. So
96,
that
I
was the
think.
whole point. Gus was fine with 96. Everyone was like 96 was probably like Walter's first cook, like in the RV. Like
Yeah.
No,
just
it was
got better.
99. I remember them talking about it.
The very
Yeah,
first
Gale
one.
Bedeker's is 90. Yeah, Gale Bedeker's is 96% pure.
Maybe
Did
it
you look
was.
that
I,
up?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
Maybe
Oh,
yeah.
I,
Because I
could've
remember
sworn it
these
was
numbers.
lower.
No, it's 96. He was able to do that.
Well,
Which
then-
is why that's what's shocking to me, that he would be willing to kill Walter to lose that 3%.
Okay,
knowing
okay,
how
but
important it is.
the different. I know he wanted Walt to supersede Gale, obviously, but once he lost Gale and he lost Walter, who is he supposed to trust to cook if he also loses Jesse? Like it. The
Mike.
thing is, he had kind of groomed Gale to like become like this thing until he realized that Walter could do better. Like Gale was supposed to be his poster boy.
No,
So then-
I think he only hired Walter to teach Gale to do better because he knew Walt
Oh, yeah,
was
yeah.
dying from cancer. So Gale was never supposed to get replaced or anything like that. Gale was always
Gale
the
was
end game.
always the end game, and then Gale dies, and all of a sudden it's like he's out of options.
So
Either
now he's
Walter or
fine
Jesse-
with 96 after Gale's been
Yeah.
killed. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get what you're saying. Okay, well, we're running pretty long here, so we need to kind of start to wrap things up here. Yin, did you have anything else that you wanted to say in regards to, like, your favorite moments? Because I know we kind of interrupted a few times.
Yeah, no, that was it.
Okay. I did want to ask you guys, because I don't know what shows you all have watched or anything like that, but I would say when it comes to these two, at least for me, they're 1A and 1B, like, probably the greatest shows, like, I've ever seen. I mean, a lot of people like to say that Breaking Bad is number 2 and The Sopranos is number 1. But for me, I mean, I've seen The Sopranos. And don't get me wrong, The Sopranos is fucking phenomenal. And I love that show. And sadly, Game of Thrones used to be that way too. But
Yeah.
I was totally about to say,
yeah, Game of Thrones was at that 10 out of 10 for me, like top 5 show as well. But with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, they're just so fucking good. Like I legitimately think like they're probably the greatest like 2 television series of like the 21st century, in my opinion. So have you seen? Well, what I was gonna ask is, have any of you like seen any better shows or shows you think they're as good comparatively?
So here's the thing. And the reason why what sets apart Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul is they're good throughout.
Yeah.
There could be other shows with certain scenes, certain seasons, certain episodes that could be just as good. But the fact that they maintained all those seasons.
Yeah, you nailed it.
For Breaking Bad, at least.
Yeah.
For Better Call Saul, and this is where it's probably another hot take that I didn't like the black and white. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. I didn't like the ending.
You didn't like the ending because it wasn't black and white?
Well, not necessarily. The black and white thing added on top of it.
Okay.
I didn't like the ending because I think it could have been worked out better in the real world. I get what they're going for. It's just could be different.
Yeah, I get you. I
didn't like the ending.
For me, I think the ending kind of wrapped up all three storylines like perfectly.
Right.
Like in my opinion, the three endings to being a criminal. Walt died, Saul was in prison, Jesse got away. Like
right. and I like the ending, like you said, it gave closure. But do I like the way it turned out? Not necessarily. I think Jimmy deserved better.
Me too.
I mean, that's fair.
I
think it was
just hard. I was rooting for him.
I was not. That's the thing. Jimmy was such a little rat in those fucking black and white episodes when he was breaking into houses and shit, and he was all mad just because Kim told him to go turn himself in, and then he threw basically a fit. And then when he got caught, and he's like, "I can't believe this is happening to me." But then he got his mind together, and I was like, "Okay." And then I fucking love how he beat the court system. It's like, you guys are gonna knock me down to 7 years just because I know you're scared to lose a case. Like that is so Giga Chad mind brain like plays by Jimmy that it's so funny that he got that to work, and he's the one that threw it away in the end.
And watching them go through like the list of his demands, I think you were up to number 20 when they stopped with
at
his
the ice cream.
Yeah.
Where I think his goal was just to get the other side to get pissed.
But yeah,
right?
There was at that point, but I think because throughout that episode you try to see like where he turned, like because at that point he was fine with the 7.5 years. Are you fucking kidding me? That's for all the shit he did. That's insane. And he gets to go live it out like a minimum security prison in North Carolina. But
okay, well that's the other thing I guess
like
I could disagree with.
Kim.
Well, no, I think
when he sees Kim in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he like decides.
Yeah, I agree with Lux.
I want to show to her that like I can own up to it, like she did.
Well, I think it was like before that, because on the plane, because he was talking to the marshal, he's like, "Guess what? I got more shit on Kim." And that because what's his fucking name? Oakley. He's like, "Oh, it could hurt her. Does this involve her?" He's like,
Poor
"Oh
Oakley.
yeah,
Oh
it involves her." Oakley gets done dirty, bro. At the end.
Yeah, did he literally ruin his career just for like one last fucking selfish reason?
That's gotta be the worst case a lawyer could have done.
But anyway, going back to the original question, you pretty much nailed it perfectly when you said that maybe some moments in some other shows or some seasons in other shows are written or produced better, but they don't keep the same consistent quality that Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul does.
I think the only other show for me, it's like you said, like from start to finish, it's really hard to think of another show. Like there are shows, a couple shows I've enjoyed more overall, and I probably would rate them as personal favorites, not as like quality or anything, but like House and Dexter up until the last season of Dexter, which is absolutely butchered. But
I'm gonna say the same thing about Ozark too. It's like a lot of them just kind of fall off.
It's
like Ozark, Game of Thrones, all that.
Oh,
there's so many shows. Yeah, there's so many shows that I would have put ahead if it wasn't for like how they butchered the ending. Like House is actually super good. House is probably
House is consistent too.
Yeah, House is consistent throughout the entire thing. I think House might be my number one show. But
really,
I fucking love House.
Yeah,
House was the show that made me want to become a doctor.
You want to become a doctor?
I originally went to school as a chemistry major to become pre-med because I wanted to be a neurosurgeon.
That's insane.
Yeah, show photos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my Instagram photos is me in Brazil helping out with a couple surgeries when I was 16.
But favorite shows. I've actually recently been watching Malcolm in the Middle. Which I guess
Ooh.
it's different for comedies because for like dramas, there's a storyline that a lot of the shows tend to fall off. But for comedies, it's different. Like it's hard to say certain seasons back, and none of them are really related to each
because
other.
they're all kind of like
But
different.
again, Bryan Cranston. Oof.
That's what I liked about the big change there, because I did watch Malcolm in the Middle back in the day.
Yeah, I knew it was like I'd watched a couple episodes,
but I didn't know.
Blu-ray.
I was not smart enough to realize that the dad was the same as Walter White until like much later after I finished Breaking Bad. I was like, holy fuck, that was him. But I guess for me, shows that could be on par with those two, but that keep the same consistency. It's so hard.
It's so hard.
So like Sopranos is definitely up there because Sopranos is pretty good from beginning to end.
I need to watch that one.
I think I just watched a show called The Leftovers on HBO that was on.
Is that good? I've seen that a few times.
So
but I haven't watched it.
It's like a premise is like all of a sudden out of nowhere 2% of the world's population just went poof. They're gone.
Yeah.
But the show isn't about that. That's the backdrop of the show. It's basically a character drama between these people, and the whole show takes place 3 years after this event happens. And it's about these people learning to cope with like certain situations and stuff. And the acting,
it was basically
like
a realistic version of the what happens in Marvel, right? Where
yeah,
like
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. It's only like 3 seasons long, so it's not very long. But it's very, very good, very well acted, very well written, and there's like moments of the show that are just like, holy shit, this is incredible. Like, this is kind of recency thing because I just finished it up like a couple weeks ago. But I was like watching videos on it today and stuff. Like, it is a fucking phenomenal show. But man, as far as like just consistent stuff to stand up to those two, like I don't know. Like, there's some new shows
Alexa,
that are
where
out
are
right
you with,
now.
Succession.
I haven't watched anymore.
Okay. I was gonna say that show has potential. I just haven't gotten.
I haven't watched
really
Succession yet. I want to watch that too.
My issue is I've kind of realized that I did this with a lot of things. It's why I prefer movies over TV shows. It's like I'll get really into something and I'll binge watch it for like a week, and then just suddenly stop. Like I've burned myself out on it, and it'll like be years if ever I come back to it. Like that's what happened with Breaking Bad originally. I actually really liked the first season and first few episodes. I just could not stand Skyler and Walt Jr. It's an issue I have, so I haven't finished too many shows. So that's why. Isn't that a movie?
Yes.
I think that's why I like
show.
House so much, because I actually finished it.
I think there's some shows going on right now that have potential to kind of keep some consistency. I think Hot D is doing really good right now. If they can keep it, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
If they can keep the
Hot D.
that's what everyone calls it, Hot D.
I've never heard that in my life, bro.
But
that's another show I did it too. That's another show. I still have to watch the last 2 episodes.
Wait, you never finished it?
No, I keep doing this, bro.
Oh, they're insane. Anyway,
we're eventually gonna cover this, but the 3 episodes of The Last of Us so far, dude, the show actually has.
Yeah, The Last of Us could be like one of the holy shit shows. Now,
I heard the episode just now that was like not well received from the audience, but good with like.
No, it was upset because it focused on 2 gay dudes, so all the homophobes are like. Now there are some. Listen, there are some problems with the episode, but not what some people are saying. But we don't need to go over that here. We'll talk about that when we eventually get to that.
I kind of want to talk to you about it after this podcast.
We can talk about it later. So yeah, I mean, I just think that these double whammies on these shows are just incredible. Like I don't know when the next show will get that are as interesting as these two, I guess. Like as involved, like how involved I am watching the shows. You know, like I've rewatched both of these shows like at least 3 times. Like I've never done that for any other show. So I think it's pretty incredible that they were able to keep the quality up for that long.
I had to actually look up shows to see if there was anything that maybe I'm forgetting, and I'm kind of realizing that actually, yeah, fucking Better Call Saul is number 2, and Breaking Bad is number 3 for me.
That's yeah, man. I didn't know you liked the House that much. That's cool.
I fucking love House.
So, all right. Well, Alex, do you have any last things you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
No, I'm good.
All right. Pedro, any last?
Nah, I don't want
Probably
to
shouldn't
yell
ask you,
anymore.
Pedro or me.
Yeah.
All right, Lex, what about you? You got any final things you want to mention on the show? I know you said you kind of wanted to discuss the ending a little bit. We didn't really go over that much.
No, we kind of did. But I was gonna talk about another show.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna pull up. I would say BoJack Horseman. It's pretty good.
Isn't Aaron Paul
What?
in that?
BoJack.
Doesn't he?
Yes, yes. BoJack Horseman's like high key really good.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen
Is
it.
it more
I
of a
need to watch
comedy?
it.
I never gave it a chance.
It's a comedy on its surface.
Mm.
I was gonna say, I've heard it's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It hits. It hits.
So that's gonna wrap things up here. I have no idea how much is actually gonna make it in and what's not. So this is gonna be a fun night for editing. But seriously, no, that was fun. I just feel like it was appropriate to dedicate a podcast to it because we spent a good majority of last year watching both of these shows and arguing about them.
Good. I do think this is a good culmination on everything. Yeah, because we did spend almost a whole last year
just watching it, both shows, and just talking about it. You know, all the arguments we've had. You know, just talking about all the different characters and everything, and it's just
like, where do we go from here?
What's a lot of fun.
It'll be interesting to revisit this in like 5 years to see if anyone's opinions change.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. So we'll do.
My opinion did change from originally to now. So
I mean, imagine thinking Walter Jr. is annoying to where you are now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, my opinion of him literally changed from when I first watched it now. So it's definitely possible that in the future I think Walter is an even bigger piece of shit.
You already said he's a good, like he's cool. When he was arguing he was saying that he's so cool, and now you're saying he's annoying.
I'm not saying. No,
I promise you.
I'm saying when I first watched it, I just thought.
All I'm saying is, I promise you, in 5 years, my opinion on Lalo Salamanca will never change.
Agree.
Yin, Lex, thank you guys for joining the podcast for the first time, and you got to experience it in its raw potential, how uncoordinated we are.
Yeah,
and everything.
Like whoever's the loudest gets to talk.
Exactly.
I actually tried to get Letza to talk a few times, but then Alice would say something I disagree with, and I'd immediately start yelling.
But Alex, thank you for coming back. We'll get you back in on it more.
Sure.
Thank you guys for watching. No idea when the next one's going to come out, just because this one was planned, and the next ones are not, but I can't imagine that we'll take a big break like we normally do with the other fucking
We'll see you guys in a year.
Exactly. All right, bye-bye.
Peace.